Buyer agency agreements. A lot of questions this week we're getting on which forms to use, when do we use them, why do we have to do this? Still a little hard for a lot of people on some of the changes that have to be made here. We've been doing it for years. We've been teaching buyer agency. We teach buyer agency in all of our new agent classes, all of our essentials and real estate training that we do. We do it in our free 24-week program that you guys have access to by going down to the PS and signing up for the master class that we do every other Wednesday. And we're going to be doing actual a buyer present. We're going to be sharing our actual buyer presentation, our buyer checklist. We're going to be going over our buyer questionnaire when we do our consultations. We'll be going over the contract in detail and exactly how we convert those buyers to clients. And it really is not a big deal. It's been something that we've been doing for years. So a lot of our agents really don't have a big problem with making this conversion and making this change because they're already doing it. And I think that the big questions coming down as to how do we use it. So normally we would talk about the exclusive buyer agency agreement. This is something that, again, we try to use right off the rip when we're sitting down doing a consultation with someone. And that's really the process, right? That's really the order where you want to be able to sit down with that buyer and you want to be able to talk to them, have a consultation with them, know what questions to ask. And this is on our buyer questionnaire form. We have everything from their name, email address, address, and then we go through a lot of different questions as to their pre-approval. Have they been pre-approved? What are they pre-approved for? What type of home they're looking for, number of bedrooms, why they're looking, why is important, what's most important to them, those type of things. The question comes up, if you can wave a magic wand, what would that perfect home look like? And what would that cost be, right? And what would you like to pay for that? Those type of questions are on the buyer questionnaire. Sitting down with them, going through that in detail, very, very important. It builds trust. It builds that whole know, like, and trust factor that we talk about. And by the end of the presentation, once we go through with them what a buyer agency agreement is, what a buyer agent could do for them versus the selling agent, and the difference between the two, they understand that it's a long process in buying a home. You don't just show up to it. It's not an event that you just show up to, right? It's a long out process in buying a home, and it's important for them to have an experienced agent, someone that is going to be able to help them in negotiations. I say experience lightly too, because there's a lot of new agents doing a great job. I'm talking new agents under a year that are doing a great job. They got the right training, they got the right tools, they got the right systems. They're crushing it, right? They're doing a great job on working with buyers. What I'm talking about is the actual agents that are actually doing the right process, right? They're actually going through, asking those questions, doing a buyer presentation with them, getting all their detailed information. And this is where buyers feel comfortable. And then they want to move forward and they have no problem signing that buyer agreement. The problem lies a lot of times, what I'm seeing is that some agents, let's say you're at an open house, or you get a Zillow lead or an Opcity lead or a Realtor.com lead. A lot of them just want to meet at the house. And let's face it, I even say it to myself, if I was a buyer, say looking to buy a house in another part of town or relocating into the area, and I call the agent, or just went to Zillow and said, go to agent, and they just gave me any agent. And that agent calls me and says, well, I can't show you this house unless you sign this exclusive agreement where you're going to, commit, and we are locked into a 6-month contract. I'm probably not signing it, right? So this is where this, non-exclusive agreement came into effect. And I think that it's very similar to what we used to do even on our exclusive agreements. Like when you go through a buyer presentation, you show them all the things that you're going to do and you ask them all the questions, 9 out of 10 times they're going to sign it. But every once in a while you'll have someone that says, hey, I'm not comfortable signing it. I don't want to lock into someone for 6 months. What if I don't want to work with you? Or what if I, we just don't connect? Then we always had an out to a contract. We always had a cancellation guarantee that they can use, where basically the cancellation guarantee said for any reason, no penalty whatsoever. If you don't want to work with us, if we're not living up to what we said we do, you can cancel. You can fire us at any time. And over the years, we really didn't have anyone that has done that for us, or had wanted to fire us, because we always did a great job for them. But it gives them an out, because every once in a while you'll have those stories that they'll say, geez, my friend used an agent and then they got locked into them, and then they had to pay that person a commission and they did all the work. Or, they wanted to switch to another agent because that agent wasn't, responding to them or not giving a good service, and the agent would let them out of their contract, right? Those are the horror stories that you hear out there. But I'll tell you, it's a very, very small percentage that are locked, that have that mentality. So we would just say, okay, great. Yeah, listen, if you're not happy working with me and you don't want to work with me, there's a good chance, I don't want to work with you either, right? I don't want to work with someone that doesn't want to work with me. I'm going to release you out of a contract. So that's another way to, kind of spin it a little bit when you have buyers. Because going back to my point here is that I'm finding some agents having a problem converting buyers at the home, right? It's so hard to just meet a buyer at a home and say, okay, I'm going to show you the property here. By the way, you got to sign this agreement. More likely it's not going to happen. So the non-exclusive is something that I think we're going to see more and more often now on some of those situations where you weren't referred, it wasn't someone that you knew, it wasn't a past client. It was just someone that you met for the first time, and you haven't built that rapport with them yet. And you have to get this agreement signed based on these new changes. The non-exclusive is going to be the way to go. And or you do the exclusive with a cancellation guarantee. So in essence, Mr. Buyer or Mrs. Buyer, we're not in a 6-month agreement. We're in a day-to-day contract, right? We're in a day-to-day contract. You can cancel at any time. But I wouldn't offer that unless you need it, or unless there was some objections with them signing it. And like I said, 90% of the time they are going to sign it. And this is what we've seen over the years. So I just want to do a quick video because that's a lot of the questions we're getting this week as to when to use it. And also setting the right expectations, like a lead that you've been working with, a lead that has been referred to you, a lead that was a past client or customer. These people already know you, right? They already know who you are. You already built that trust. And it's going to be a lot easier just to go right into a presentation. Just tell them, hey, let's get together. Let's go over all the details. There's been some recent changes with the National Association of Realtors that I like to go over and explain to you. And you sit down with them and you do a really good presentation so that they feel 100% confident that they want to work with you and move forward. You're going to have no problem with that. And I'm seeing a lot of agents just this past week, some that haven't done it and admit that they've never had a buyer agreement signed, that are getting buyer contracts signed because they're using the presentation, they're going through and asking the right questions. So that's a different type of buyer. The other buyer, the expectations I want you guys to know about is that if you meet someone for their first time, there's a good chance they're not gonna sign it. Like I said, I wouldn't sign it if I just met someone for the first time that didn't show me value, that didn't show me what they were gonna do for me, they didn't show what their process was. There's no value there for me. Why would I sign with them and get locked into someone, for months if I don't know what they're gonna bring to the table? So just get ready for that type of stuff. But again, you can avoid all this by just having a really good process on doing this. So I just wanted to share that with you because I know that a lot of agents are like freaked out about it. And I'm seeing, again, we've been doing it for a while, so it hasn't been that big of a change for us. But make sure, if you want to get information, if you want to get some training, some mentorship, some leadership on what we do as a company and as what we've done as a coaching company, as far as training our agents on how to get more buyer agency agreements signed and how to use it, make sure you go to the Blueprint Classroom link in the PS in his email and just sign up. And we're going to be going over here, I think in about 4 more weeks, we're going to go pretty heavy on the buyer module. Right now we're finishing up the seller module. I believe next week we're going to be doing, Trish and I are going to go over our listing process. Because again, you have to have a really good listing process, right? We're pretty good with all that, right? We all agree that for those of you that get listings, we go in, we go see their home, we walk through their home, we give them all the value and all the things we're going to do to market their property and all the value we're going to bring to the table with negotiations. And we do a great job presenting on the list side, we haven't had to do it on the buy side. And I think a lot of us, it's the unknown. And I know that now already we're hearing some buyers that are interviewing agents where we never saw that before, where a buyer is actually going to interview 2 or 3 agents to see who they want to work with, because now there's a fee involved, right? Now there's more pressure on the buyer to pick the right person they're going to work with moving forward. So you got to be ready for it. So we're going to be going over that, and that should start in about 3 weeks, our first buyer module class. And we'll share everything that we use with you guys, so you have the information. So that's it. I'm over here at, geez, I'm cooking tonight. Sherry didn't want to cook tonight because we have our great niece with us staying overnight. So I said I'd cook tonight. So I'm at getting takeout. I think it's Bella Lucia, the name of it here. So we're gonna try them out. Got some eggplant coming, some spaghetti and meatballs, I think a small cheese pizza. I'll let you guys know how that works out. So, all right, so hope you guys like this video. Scroll down below, leave a comment. Let's go get them this week.